Welcome back to ADHD Whiskey. My name is Matt, and today we're drinking a whiskey that's specific to a university. So if this whiskey isn't good, it's at least got book smarts. On 1 Ounce Wednesday, I take a sample that I received from a patron or a viewer or a distillery, or Samuel L. Jackson, or Samuel R. Jackson, or RoboCop, or C-3PO. I take that sample, I pour it into a glass, then I swirl it, smell it, taste it, and review its ass. And today, thanks to Dara, who has a YouTube channel called The Average Drinker, we're tasting Wabash Reserve. America, Wabash. Since I don't know anything about Wabash Reserve, I went ahead and went to their website, and it says Wabash Reserve comes from Boot Hill Distillery. It's a bourbon whiskey. It's 90 proof. It's available in all Kansas liquor stores. Authentic Wildcat spirit in every bottle. Kansas State, huh? Kansas State is pretending to be the real Wildcats? Wrong. The real Wildcats reside in Michigan's Upper Peninsula. The NMU Wildcats. Celebrate another Wildcat victory with Wabash Reserve Bourbon Whiskey, distilled by K-State alumni at Boot Hill Distillery in Dodge City, Kansas. Wabash Reserve is the first and only bourbon whiskey for all K-Staters. Marketing bourbon to your students? Super smart. The whiskey is made from grain grown on Boot Hill Distillery's farm. This agricultural link dates back to 1863. It's not that long ago. In 1863, I got my first pair of Air Jordans and did 3 slam dunks against a D1 college team who started 7 people to guard me. Poured over a cube of ice, served neat, or in a favorite cocktail, Wabash Reserve is the perfect way to celebrate the Wildcats and the legacy of Kansas State University. Mash bill 55% corn, 35% wheat, and 10% unmalted barley. That's interesting. Boot Hill Distillery was like, barley isn't necessarily a flavoring grain, but a lot of distilleries use malted barley to kickstart the fermentation process. Hashtag unmalted barley. Hashtag why. Hashtag for what. I've never had a bourbon whiskey specifically designed to entice the student nation at a rowdy college campus. I don't even know if Kansas State is rowdy, or if their cats are even wild. 90 proof Wabash Reserve. Sweet tarts. Young sweet tarts. If there was a stiff breeze blowing through a sweet tart factory and through a cornfield and you were at the opposite end of it, that's what that smells like. A very young whiskey smells very young but doesn't smell off-putting. Just smells sweet and young. Some grassy notes are hiding in there. A little bit of grass. Welcome everybody, please sit down. My name is Professor Matt. You all have your syllabus for Whiskey Tasting 101, Introduction to Greatness. You might notice that the syllabus is blank because you're only meant to do one thing here this semester. It's watch and learn, you sons of bitches. Let's put this bourbon into my curriculum. Nah. Nope. We're done with that. No thanks. Wabash Reserve, 90 proof, Kansas bourbon whiskey. Receives a score today of 3.6. 3.6 is bad. It's bad. It can keep the Glencairn. Don't want it. Don't want it. Not good. My name is Matt. This is ADHD Whiskey, and like I always say, keep your head in the clouds, but your mind on maybe offering your student body something quality. I mean, tuition, housing, books, transportation costs, drugs, prostitution. How do you expect your student body to make it these days? I'm just saying, college is too expensive. If you're gonna make a whiskey for your student body, make it cheap and shitty, or expensive and awesome. Don't go the expensive and shitty route. That's a shitty thing to do. If I were enrolled at Kansas State University, I would immediately drop all my classes and drop out of school and then demand my money back and tell them that I'm no longer a wildcat, but I'm a wild rat. And this wild rat is going to rat you out on the internet and tell you that your bourbon is bad. I put that bourbon on academic probation and then give it $600 parking tickets because it's just the way college works. Suck on that, wildcat. Ugh.